This signal, it's made up of 4 tones representing guanine, uracil, adenine, and cytosine.
When Pluribus opens, it's already too late for most of the world. A phenomenon, part virus, part revelation, sweeps across humanity in a matter of weeks. Those who catch it become something new, blissful, synchronized, almost holy. The news calls it salvation. The scientists call it a neurological infection. And for everyone else, the change feels like a miracle. A world suddenly free of pain, doubt, or division. Everyone except Carol Sturka. Rhea Seehorn's Carol, the protagonist of Vince Gilligan's Pluribus, is one of roughly a dozen people on Earth who remain unaffected by what's being called the Pluribus event. The name comes from the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, out of many, one. It's a chillingly fitting title for a show that blurs the line between collective unity and total loss of individuality, the virus that feels too good to be true. What's immediately unsettling about Pluribus is that it doesn't look like a traditional apocalypse. There are no burning cities, no screaming crowds, no monsters tearing through the streets. Instead, there's peace. People smile more. Strangers embrace in supermarkets. The sick recover overnight. Crime stops. Wars end. Humanity seems reborn, at least on the surface. But this new world's serenity hides something darker. Every infected person, every member of the Pluribus, speaks in the same tone.
Good morning, Carol.
Uses the same phrases, moves in the same rhythm. Their individuality seems to dissolve. It's not possession or control in the demonic sense. It's harmony taken to the edge of horror. They describe it as hearing a song in their heads, something vast, beautiful, and unending. A cosmic choir that connects every living soul into one mind. To the outside observer, it's terrifying. To those within it, it's transcendence. That paradox is at the core of Gilligan's vision. He's long been fascinated by moral transformation, from Walter White's descent in Breaking Bad to Jimmy McGill's in Better Call Saul. But Pluribus is a mirror version of those stories. Instead of showing how good people become bad, it shows what happens when humanity becomes too good, when empathy itself becomes infection. Carol and the Immunes, Carol Sturka doesn't hear the song. She doesn't feel the light. Whatever binds the rest of the world passes right through her. At first, that seems like a blessing. She's one of the few who can still think independently, still question, still fear. But as days turn to weeks, her immunity becomes isolation. Everyone she loves, her friends, her coworkers, even her family, join the collective. They don't vanish, they just change. They still smile at her, but the warmth behind it is gone. They move like actors reading from a divine script. Soon, Carol discovers she isn't the only one left unchanged. Reports surface of a handful of immune individuals scattered across the country, 11 others who also can't hear the song. Some hide in fear, others try to study it. A few see themselves as saviors of free will, but one by one they begin to disappear, either absorbed into the collective or hunted down by it. Whether through force or persuasion, Pluribus always grows. The show implies Carol's immunity may not be a coincidence. In one haunting early episode, she undergoes a neurological scan that reveals her brain doesn't respond to empathy stimuli the way others do. She feels emotion, but differently. More fragmented. Some scenes hint that she may have suffered trauma that rewired how she experiences connection. In other words, the very thing that once made her feel broken might now be the reason she's still herself. What if it isn't a virus? While the media and the show calls it a virus, the phenomenon doesn't behave like one. There's no transmission through air or blood. No symptoms in the biological sense. Instead, people turn after being exposed to certain frequencies, lights, or even emotions. The transformation seems to happen when they feel an overwhelming surge of compassion or understanding, almost like their brains are being rewritten by empathy itself. That leads to one chilling hypothesis. Pluribus isn't a virus. It's evolution. Maybe humanity has reached a point where the collective unconscious, that shared field of thought and feeling, becomes self-aware. The so-called infection could be a natural event, a kind of psychic synchronization that wipes out conflict by merging minds. It's not killing humanity, it's replacing individuality with unity. If that's true, Carol's immunity becomes more complicated. She isn't resistant, she's incompatible. Her brain can't sync because it doesn't harmonize emotionally like everyone else's. She's out of tune. And that makes her both a relic and a threat. Why Carol's immunity matters. Carol's resistance isn't just biological, it's philosophical. She embodies the show's moral tension. If the world is united, peaceful, and happy, but individuality disappears, is that utopia or hell? Through her eyes, Pluribus becomes an existential nightmare. She watches humanity evolve into something perfect, and she can't join it. She starts to question whether she's the broken one, if her inability to feel what they feel makes her less human, not more. In later episodes, Carol encounters a scientist who claims that immunity is fading. The longer the phenomenon lasts, the more difficult it becomes for the immune to resist. One by one, their dreams start to fill with whispers, fragments of the same cosmic choir everyone else hears. Carol fights to stay awake, afraid that if she sleeps, she'll join them. Her battle becomes both mental and spiritual, the war for her own consciousness. The meaning behind the ending, speculative. If Pluribus follows Gilligan's usual storytelling structure, its ending will come down to choice, not survival. Carol might eventually face a moment where she can join the collective willingly, not by infection, but by acceptance. The finale could pose a haunting question. What if losing yourself means saving the world? In one leaked still from the trailer, Carol stands before a glowing mass of light, surrounded by hundreds of infected figures, all smiling, all at peace. She steps forward, tears in her eyes, whispering, "I just want to feel it." Whether she joins them or not remains unseen, but the image says everything. For Gilligan, redemption and damnation have always looked nearly identical. Final theory: Carol isn't the chosen one. She isn't special. She's simply the one person whose pain kept her apart. The virus, or whatever Pluribus truly is, thrives on connection, empathy, and unity. And Carol, for reasons both tragic and profound, never fully learned how to connect. Her immunity is her loneliness, and her loneliness is her salvation. In the end, Pluribus may not be about the end of humanity at all. It's about the end of self. A world where everyone finally understands each other, but no one remembers who they used to be. And in that quiet, glowing apocalypse, Carol's resistance becomes the last fragile spark of individuality. Proof that even when the world sings in unison, someone, somewhere, will still hum their own tune.